Swing at the World family, we are back one more again. Like I always tell you, sometimes the world swings hard at you, sometimes it gets tricky, so sometimes you gotta swing back at the world. We had a little technical difficulty this here week. Not gonna get into it, but you guys are gonna get a bit of a double entendre in terms of getting 2 episodes for the price of 1 this coming week. Got a lot of craziness going on in the news. I don't want to say I like to start it out with the war in Israel and Palestine, but in the first episode we talked about it a little. And we talked about the fact that, you know, a lot of worldwide figures are calling for a ceasefire. Elijah brought up in our last episode that he had seen that. I said then, and I'll say now, I don't think it's going to happen. Now we're hearing other countries in the Middle East starting to get a little bit frustrated with Israel. I'm not going to get too deep into religion, okay? But I do know that the big fear was that the day that the entire Middle East is fighting is when we're on to the end of the world. I never have felt close to that happening, but this here, you know, again, I talk about it every episode, and I'm sorry, it sticks with me and it bothers me. The images that I'm seeing coming out are just, they get worse every day. It got so bad the other day, I had to go and unfollow a bunch of pages on Instagram because I couldn't take it no more. I couldn't handle seeing it. All of you young men, is this the most afraid you've been of world war? And if not, when was the most afraid you've been?
I mean, every day it seems like I get more afraid that there will be like a draft for it.
A draft, yeah.
You know, I said once, you start killing kids, that's it. And, you know, and if you're willing to go as far as that, what are you going to do in other areas? You're willing to kill kids. That's as far as I think you can go with it.
Well, yeah, listen, what disturbs me is any other country, if it was America and all these images were coming out of children killed by American bombs.
You know who would be, everybody would be investigating.
All hell would break loose.
Well, that's one, but for two, I think America's powers that be, not because they're good people, but because they don't want to look like monsters, would say, oh, wait a minute. But Israel's not. They're like, oh, well, it's Hamas' fault. But when I asked y'all, was this the most scared? So do you guys remember back when North Korea was talking shit?
Yeah.
You know,
but they've been doing that. You know?
Right.
I felt like they were bluffing.
Yeah.
And I did too.
They was.
Well, they don't have the capabilities.
They don't want it.
You guys know it was hilarious when Kim Jong or whatever his name is, he brought out his little military force, show of force on the streets, and he showed his nuclear missiles. And our general laughed like they don't have the capability to reach us.
They ain't got nothing.
They'll blow up across the ocean, you know. So
Their people are too malnutrition
I
to
mean,
even
yeah.
come to battle with us.
yeah, I don't even say that mockingly.
Nah, I'm just being real.
They do not take care of their people. But now with this war, you know, I brought this up in the last shoot we did. The way every world war started was 2 little ass countries, and then this country got in, and this country got in, and then it became a world war. Look, think about this, y'all. I'm gonna say this last thing because we're gonna breeze through today. We just a month ago to 6 weeks ago were affixed on all these images of the Ukraine and Russia. I was seeing all these images. There was drones dropping grenades on soldiers. Some dumbass had made a highlight video of it, and you're seeing Ukrainian drones fly over with a grenade, drop it on a soldier, and kill him. Somebody made a cute little highlight out of that. So we seen that, and we knew that was going on. That conflict alone worried me. Now here comes Israel-Palestine. So I just hope that the first world countries and the democratic countries, keep your head. Stay out of this shit. Stay out of it. You know, those people have been fighting for hundreds, thousands of years. Just let them chill.
We know now the technology's crazy.
Yeah.
Now there are drones where you can drop bombs and shit on people. You didn't have that 100 years ago.
Well, look, you know,
Planes, I guess.
those Predator drones are terrifying.
Yeah.
When people think about those Predator drones, they don't realize quite the capability they have. No bullshit. We could be sitting here and see a Predator drone just fly up right outside that window and just light us all up. That's how precise they are, okay? I think I told y'all in one episode there was a video that Predator drone flying. It was a teenager, 19-year-old flying the drone. Flying, and you show this guy riding a bicycle over in the Middle East. The kid hits him with the machine gun. Dude falls, blew his legs off.
Yeah,
Dude's crawling, trying to get away, and the kid's like, oh no, he's still alive, what do I do? And his sergeant was like, swing back around and hit him again. The kid's like, okay. Like a video game. Just swings back and hits him. That's the capability we have. That's scary.
You see those machines, like the little dog-looking things that have the guns on them?
Yeah.
That's
There's
crazy.
just
Yeah.
all types of weapons now.
Well,
Yeah.
I say it every time, if you motherfuckers not seen Terminator, go ahead and keep this robot shit up. Before you know it, we're gonna be fist fighting with robots outside our house.
Just brings me to my next point, though, right? If they have that, it's hard to tell what we got.
Well,
You don't want us to bring out the big toys.
no,
I'm telling you right
listen,
now.
I believe, first of all, I believe in UFOs, but I also believe that some of the UFO reports are shit that we have.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's shit we have.
We
you
see
know?
it too often.
Rollo, I guess he was affiliated, I want to say with CMG, he's a rapper, gets out. Just got out of federal pen.
Oh, yeah, did like 6 years, right?
Right.
What do you do it for?
I believe it was a Fed case, dope and guns, standard material. Rollo gets out, and the first day he gets out, he disses Yo Gotti and CMG. Do you enjoy jail? Do you enjoy beef? Okay, let me ask y'all something. You understand that the beef in rap, it does sell records, okay? When people hear, it's just like anything. I'll give you an example. Y'all may remember I was beefing with a little twerp that left Street Beefs a few years back. During that period, Street Beefs grew by millions of subscribers just because a bunch of nosy motherfuckers said, I want to watch, okay? So beef does sell, even though that wasn't my intention. So I get that some of these rappers want to beef, but you gonna come fresh out of prison, your first day, and start a beef. Mind you guys know who CMG is, right?
Yeah.
I personally feel they were involved in Young Dolph's murder. We know they were involved in his attempted murder. That was confirmed. You want to beef with them your first day out? What do y'all think of that? I mean,
He
you
must have
got
been holding on to that, right? You do 6
He
years
was
in
waiting.
prison. That's the first thing. Even, bro, he had
the whole time.
Let me just say this too, right? That better have been the best. He had 6 years to work on that.
That motherfucker was pacing his cell back and forth. Hey, gotta get this diss out for
Gotta get it
6
out.
years. Then finally, as soon as he walked out the door, they hand him a mic. But you know, honestly, I get it. I think he wants to come out with a bang. But here's the sad thing. I remember back in the day with Pac and Biggie. And again, you young people, you understand, but you don't understand. Let me ask y'all, if you right off the top of your head right now, who's the two biggest rappers on planet Earth, like most famous, biggest,
Like right now.
right now,
Alive.
alive?
Drake.
Drake, yeah. Lil Baby.
Lil
Kanye.
Baby.
Okay, so let's say Drake and Lil Baby. Let's just top of our head, Drake and Lil Baby.
Soulja Boy.
Imagine Drake and Lil Baby beef for 6 months. Then within a 6-month period, Drake gets smoked, and then Lil Baby gets smoked.
The world's gonna
And
go
some-
crazy.
That's what happened with Pac
That
and
shit
Biggie.
crazy.
Okay, now, when our generation seen that shit, they was like, whoa. Because there was this big beef
The
going
world
on.
just stopped.
It did. East Coast, West Coast was a big thing. You know, all the West Coast dudes were going at the East Coast dudes, vice versa. When they died, everybody's like, oh. And they kind of fell back because they seen people can die with this shit. But now I see these young rappers that I don't think they remember. They're out here beefing nonstop. What's a list of the young rappers? Now, mind you, not all of them died from rap beef. But who do we got that's been murdered over the last few years? We got PNB Rock,
PNB Rock,
Young Dolph, who?
Big Scar.
Big Scar,
X, Juice, I can keep going.
X, I mean,
Juice
Juice
was
was
different,
yeah.
but
There's a big list.
rap's already a hazardous career,
Yeah.
right? Why stir the pot? Again, I get it, it makes record sales, but you know, if you look, I'm gonna say this, young people, our generation was wild, but with this rap shit, y'all's generation's out of control. Y'all just target practice with each other. Do you guys know of a big beef right now? And if so, what is the most dangerous beef in rap right now?
right now, I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of one. To be honest.
Everybody chilling?
The only beef I'm hearing is Soulja Boy right now. It sounds like he apologized.
Yo, did you see that shit with him and J. Cole?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
What happened?
Because
Look,
J.
I
Cole
ain't
said he
seen it.
didn't like his music back then.
So look, you'd have to see the video, and we gonna splice this in. Soulja Boy sees something from J. Cole. J. Cole didn't even diss him. J. Cole made a remark about one of his songs or something. Soulja Boy's like, yo, J. Cole, I understand what you did, but you's a bitch. Blah, 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 da, da, da. Then he's like, but for real, I get what you say, but you's a straight bitch, homie. Blah, blah. So he puts that out. Then like an hour later, he's like, yo, J. Cole, I apologize. I misunderstood, da, da, da. Then like an hour later, he's like, nah, you a bitch.
Let's
Yeah.
box. That's what he did.
I mean, Soulja Boy,
Make it make sense.
he's bipolar, you
Yeah.
know.
He needed to focus on his video game. That's what he needed to do.
Facts.
Well, didn't that motherfucker get maced by Charleston White?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So, you know, look, homie.
Hey, he did run up on him though.
Yeah, but
He
Charleston White's going to do some weird ass shit.
Yeah, well, let me say this. Charleston White has made it clear. A, he's not going to fight you fair, and if you win, he's going to tell on you. He said that.
And then he'll
He's-
talk shit in the video after.
And then he actually, I don't know if y'all seen the video, this man gets on the phone, calls somebody's probation officer. It's like, yo, he is threatening my life. You need to check him, but he recorded it. It's a different world, y'all. Back in the day, you could not have done that shit. So, another thing that I thought was a little bit disturbing is there was a woman, a New York woman, charged with aggravated manslaughter for mowing down a police officer while driving drunk. And basically, Jessica Borrevas is accused of plowing into Anastasios Chisakos around 2 a.m. as he was directing traffic at the scene of an accident on a Long Island expressway. Let me start by saying, I never lecture my children about anything that I don't know about. Young people, I drove drunk when I was young. I also rode with people who drove drunk. And I was wrecked twice by people driving drunk. Got lucky to live. Several times when I drove drunk, I don't know how I made it home, okay? I know friends who got killed by people driving drunk. So I say, to me, it's fucked up, all right? Motherfucker starts drinking, and I know what you say to yourself. You're at the club, you're drinking, you go, well, I gotta get my car home. No, call a fucking Uber, you know? Call a cab, call a family member. Don't travel drunk. Have any of y'all ever lost somebody to drunk driving? No?
Not close to me, but I know people.
So, that's surprising and that's good. I'm glad that you haven't. I had a friend named, I actually got 2 incidents. I had a friend named Chris Buckley, rest in peace, good friend of mine, years ago, and I always get choked up because the last time I seen Chris Buckley, we're in jail together, Randolph County Jail, and he kept singing, this is when R. Kelly's song, I Believe I Can Fly came out. And he kept singing it to me the day before he got out. He said, I'm going home, flying free. I believe I can fly. So he's singing that to me. 2 days after he gets out, he's in a car with a couple of females. They're speeding out this back road, and he gets ejected through the window, flies 100 feet through the air, hits a tree. Now, you understand why that sends chills down my spine. The last thing he sung is, I Believe I Can Fly. And he died flying through a window, hits a tree. It just tears my heart out. Second friend, I had a friend named Rock years ago. We were on the strip up in Pittsburgh. We had these bikes called Rent-A-Rocks. Well, it was bikes and cars. basically you take a piece of crack, give it to a crackhead and rent their vehicle. So we had this motorcycle that we always used to rent, okay? We'd get this motorcycle for a $20 rock, keep it for several hours, but we all knew that the motorcycle would get stuck in 5th gear. We all knew that, so we were careful with it. Well, Rock gets on it, the strip is in Pittsburgh. So he takes off, gets up to 5th, and he didn't see that there was cars stopped at the light. So he tried to downshift, but he was intoxicated. So he didn't realize that he couldn't downshift. Only other option he had, he tried to lay the bike down. Laid the bike down, boom, his chin hit the back bumper, broke his neck, almost took his head off. So we come running down the street, and we seen him crawling. So we're like, yo, he's all right. And like there was this big stream of blood behind him, rolled him over, his helmet was full of blood. It was bad.
See, driving while drunk is one thing, but getting on a motorcycle while drunk is a different thing.
That's other level. Did they ever play for you guys the drunk driving death videos in school, or is that something?
They just gave us a paper showing the danger.
I did a lot of those simulators.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Like where you get in there and you get on the road. And
They ain't really give a fuck, to be honest.
What did y'all have?
We had assemblies. Like, we just had a dude, like, sit up there and talk about it. Like, I lost my friend to drunk driving. This is how it happened. Don't make the same decisions.
I mean, yeah, I had that in elementary school, and then when we got up to the higher grades, it was like, just don't do that shit.
They brought out the
basically.
drunk goggles and stuff. you know?
Yeah, I remember the drunk.
That made
goggles.
you do stuff in gym class. Couldn't.
Well, they had drunk goggles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, you put them on and it
I
like.
get to use
They had us play dodgeball in them.
Yeah, we had to walk straight line.
Yeah, they had us play
Yeah, you had to
dodgeball.
walk a
with
straight
drunk
line and everything.
You know what? I'll tell you what they did for us 80s and 90s kids. They whipped out this video called The Horrors of Drunk Driving, and we got to see kids who got turned into bloodstains on a Friday night from drunk driving. And it was shocking, dude. Like, there was one I always remember. There was these 4 teenagers in a station wagon. They went out for graduation, got drunk, and all of them got killed. And they didn't show the bodies. They showed the inside of the car. There was like an inch of blood in the floorboards. And that always stuck with me, but obviously not enough because I still drunk drive. To this lady, can you imagine? All right, it's not bad enough that you got a DUI. It's not bad enough that you killed somebody. No, you killed a cop.
You know they're gonna throw the book at you for that.
Oh, she's done.
She gonna get more than that. That's murder, first of all.
Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you how shocking it is to wake up drunk in jail, okay? No matter what it is. You wake up, you don't even know why you're there.
Yeah.
You gotta ask your cellmate and then they go, what did I do? Now imagine waking up and they say, oh, you killed a cop last night. You know, your life is over. So, listen, young people, old people, don't fucking drink and drive. Never know how you're gonna end up. Do any of y'all know who Saucy Santana is?
Yeah.
I know that. I know who that is.
We're gonna really unpack this. Saucy Santana is, I don't know, I don't want to get the wording wrong. A man who dresses up like a female, wears lipstick, so on and so forth. Okay, fair enough. That's his prerogative. So, for whatever reason, DJ Academics comes at Saucy Santana and attacks him, calling him names, blah 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 blah. Well, the world comes back at Academics. Now, how much do y'all know about DJ Academics?
He likes to talk shit.
I know he's a
No. He likes to talk shit to females. If you go look it up, the majority of his disputes are either with females. He's actually several times beefed with females, or it'll be like the weakest dude.
You remember when he did that interview with Joe Budden with the
Yep.
Migos?
Yeah.
And they got up there and were
Yeah.
like, "What's up, dude?" And he
Yeah.
just sat there.
Yeah, he's soft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, he ain't gonna do this.
But now with Saucy Santana, a man who likes to dress up like a female, but FYI, this dude's like 250. He's a big dude.
Yeah, that's a big dude.
He's still a man, okay? He's gangster with Saucy Santana. Blah, 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 you this, you that. So now here comes Charleston White.
Oh God.
I don't even know
Just
what
the
he
most random trio of all time.
Why does
Yeah.
he pop up in these stories?
Some bullshit.
He just interjects himself in anything that he can.
Nightmare
So
front
Charleston White just comes out swinging out of the woodwork at the world, and he says that Saucy Santana's wrong, needs to shut the F up, and that he's got Academics back. He said he's got his back.
Well, that's a hell of a guy to have your back, ain't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Because he's going to get the police involved.
Yeah.
Hey, at least Academics knows if it goes bad, 911's on speed dial.
Somebody got it, yeah.
Well, did any of y'all see the video of Charleston White where he's showing all his weapons?
Yeah.
Bro, listen.
He said, I'm ready for war.
I am sorry. I can't even watch it. Every time I watch it, I laugh so hard. I kid you not, the other night I randomly pulled it up on my phone. I started laughing so hard, tears were coming down my face. My wife was like, what is wrong with you? What are you watching? But he's just so ridiculous.
He's pulling out pocket knives.
He pulled out a big bolt.
It's like, yeah.
Remember the bolt he pulled out? He's like, I'll hit you in your eye with this. Yeah! And he was serious.
It was just in some random backyard.
Yeah, so...
He just had a picnic table with all these weapons on it. He just started picking them up.
And look, when he's like a super villain. Because this motherfucker will sit there, talk shit, then at the point where he's like, and I'll snitch on you too. And if I can't snitch on you, I'll shoot you.
I think he would too.
I do too. I think he's mental. And he sits there and just laughs about it, dude. Like, I don't know. But this trio of Saucy Santana, DJ Academics, and Charleston White has got to be the most mixed up, tripped out trio I've ever heard in my life. I'm just saying, guys. Charleston, stop that telling though. You go in there, you provoke people, at least stand on business, right?
I kind of mess with Charleston White though.
He's funny as hell though.
He's just entertaining, you know.
No, I do too. At least he's honest too.
Hey
Like,
Charleston, man, we need you on the show, man. Come down here, man. Let us interview you, man.
Hey, I'd be down for that. Charleston, what's up? Come on the show. We need to talk to you. So, in other news, we got a Florida man who was sentenced to 12 and a half years after pleading guilty to murdering his own son, who was a UFC football star named Otis Anderson Jr. I don't know the details of this case, all right? Obviously, he wasn't righteous for what he did, or he wouldn't have got charged. I'm not gonna say everybody who gets charged with a crime is guilty, but I'm gonna stand on business here and say that he probably is. He murdered his son. Do you guys know anything about the details?
Nah, I haven't.
So, I'll say this. I'm not going to get into the details of the case. I'm not well versed on it. I want to just talk about how the hell do you kill your child? Or vice versa, how do you kill your parent? To me,
Family.
how do you kill family? I don't get it, you know? I got family members right now that I don't talk to. But I could never bring myself to hurt them.
You remember the killing with the brother right up the street on Washington?
Yeah, listen. So,
I think you said I told me that story.
yeah. Street we lived on was kind of a seedy street. Like, to tell you how bad it was, I found a dead body. Some kids came and got me one day.
Under the bridge.
Yeah, I'm getting off topic, but let me tell you this real quick. So one day, these kids come and knock on my door. Face, there's a dead body in the woods. So I'm like, what? So that's all right, dude, let's go. I actually got suspicious of these kids. They were teenagers. I was like, are they trying to set me up or, you know? So I went out there ready. I didn't know. So they started leading me back into the woods and I'm on guard. Then they're like, look, it's right there. And I looked and I see a dude laying there with smoke all around him. And I go up and this guy's whole lower body is burned to the bone. And mouth bubbling. So I immediately called 911. I said, look, there's a dead body behind our house. She's like, what? And she was like, well, attempt CPR. I said, lady, he's dead. Oh, there's no CPR. But that's just to paint the picture of the area, you know, still wasn't Chicago. But it, you know, in that neighborhood, it had some issues and we had a couple murders over the years. So to the story we were talking about, there was a pair of brothers and they started beefing over a female. They all three lived in this little apartment down from us. And this is how messed up it was. The younger brother gave the older brother a nice hunting knife for his birthday. which was the day before. The older brother takes said hunting knife and stabs his younger brother dead in the heart while he's laying on the couch asleep. Kills him instantly. So, and this is, I just can't wrap my head around it. I understand getting angry. I understand getting upset, but you only get one family, right? You guys have probably at least heard of family members hurting each other. Y'all ever heard a story that you know somebody where they've hurt a family member?
Nah, not murder.
Yeah.
Maybe a fight.
That's wild. Yeah. You remember that there was a story of these two twins. You remember that story? They killed their mother.
Yes.
They killed her bad too.
Yes.
That was the one story that I remember that was really bad of kids.
Well,
family beef.
We go back to the gypsy story, where she killed her mother. I say what I say because our family is like pretty close knit and pretty tight, and when we do have an issue, we kind of yap about it. But some families don't have that, and to this young man who was a UCF football player, his father murders him. I tried to do a little research because in the end, it wasn't to talk about the specific case. We wanted to just talk about families who kill each other. But in the case of the UCF football player, apparently there was a dog that bit somebody. The dad and son started arguing, and the father murders the son. That's a hell of a reason. We got a bunch of dogs that do all kinds of dumb shit. I'm not hurting my children over them. Look, families out there, you can always talk, but you can't replace a family member. Just saying. This is a Polish rum maker, and they've made a robot, their CEO. Listen, folks, listen. They didn't make a robot the shift manager. They didn't make a robot, team leader.
The CEO.
They made him the CEO.
Which is the
big dog.
The chief operator of
Right.
Just to break it down.
So you gotta have some serious trust in a robot to do that. Imagine me right now saying, all right, I got this robot on my phone here. He's gonna run Street Beefs from now on. How could you really truly have faith that it would get done right? I mean, I know robots are getting more and more intelligent, but don't you think that human touch gets lost just a little bit, guys?
Over time, it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, even, I'll say this last thing. I go to Walmart, and what pisses me off and infuriates me is 10 years ago when I go to Walmart, they had 6, 7, 8 lanes open with baggers and cashiers. Now, they'll have one open and the rest is self-checkout. Let me go ahead and elaborate and dictate what self-checkout really is. It's do our job for us, okay? I should not have to come in and ring up my own shit and bag it. That should be your job. You're selling me the goods.
Well, then they're mad that I scanned the TV as a tomato.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, no, and look.
And they stopped me for the receipts. No, I'm gonna walk out with the receipt in my hand.
You
see it.
I mean, and I don't feel bad for them that there's people that's maybe checking out more than they should. You don't want that to happen. Put fucking humans at the cash registers. It's all about saving money. Think about it. And I'm sure you guys understand this. They buy that machine one time. Let's say it costs $50,000. They buy one of them. The thing lasts for 10, 20, whatever years. They don't, that trumps a cashier's salary. It pays for itself within 2 years. You see what I'm saying? So
with maintenance and everything, that's what.
Yeah. So it's a shame because humans are losing in some regard. But I will say that I think the tech field is opening up other areas for us.
Well, I ain't mad at it, because I don't want to talk to somebody when I'm scanning my groceries anyway.
No, meaning, well,
let me just get on out of here. You see where they got automatic McDonald's and these other gas stations.
They also got automated YouTube channels, TikTok creators, all that.
I almost bought into the automated YouTube channels. They almost got me. There was something called YouTube automation, and basically they wanted me to pay $25,000. And in return,
I've seen those ads for those.
Yeah, they were going to make me 5 YouTube channels and supposedly post on them daily and build them up.
What was the catch?
The catch was I can do that myself. I'm not doing it. And we proved that.
25,000 is absurd.
Yeah,
25,000
got me confused with
those-
somebody
those
else.
Numbers are outlandish.
You know. I want to get right in, and I want to take a poll of my sons, okay? You can only pick 2 of the greatest boxing matches of all time. It has to be 2 of these, or you can pick your own 2.
Give me Ali Frazier and Duran versus Leonard. Easy. I feel like that's easy in my opinion.
Definitely Pacquiao and Marquez.
Or Hagler and Hearns, but like that's a
That's a
close
good
third.
matchup, too.
Foreman and Lyle was a good one.
Bam!
You're a big Foreman fan.
And I fuck with Pacquiao, so that
Yeah.
that was a good
I
one
like
too.
watching
You know.
Pacquiao.
I just
So-
feel like that Ali and Frazier rivalry.
Oh my goodness.
Out the roof.
Listen, you're right when you say Ali Frazier, if you're talking Ali Frazier 3. Because to me that was...
It doesn't specify it though.
No, it don't. And, well, look, all of their fights were good.
Amazing.
But for me, and I'm a George Foreman fanboy. Everybody knows this. Him versus Ron Lyle, though, if you go watch it, these dudes, there was like 6 knockdowns. This is heavyweights. There was like 6 knockdowns in the first 2 rounds. I'm going to tell you how bad it was. At the end of Lyle versus Foreman, Foreman finally gets him pinned against the ropes and is just hitting him. And there's somebody, you can hear it plain as day. Somebody's like, stop it, he's gonna kill him. And it looked like he might. But there was also a point where it looked like Lyle may kill Foreman. My pick is Foreman versus Lyle. And I'm gonna hit y'all with a surprise one. Trinidad versus Vargas. Y'all probably don't remember Tito Trinidad.
I don't.
He was a bad boy, Puerto Rican. Vargas,
Wasn't that the one fight where dude got knocked down like 3-4 times and won the match?
I know which one you're talking about. But him and Vargas, they rocked each other several times. Great fight. Look, all of these names, because then you got Hagler versus Hearns. Most experts believe that's the best fight of all time. I liked it. I did. I loved it. You know, but certain people have a certain taste in fights they like. Then you got Gotti versus Ward. I mean, a lot of people feel that's the greatest trio of fights ever. Duran versus Leonard. We can go on for days. But listen, give us your thoughts below. Greatest boxing match, single boxing match of all time. What do you got? Speaking of boxing, and then we're going to go into one UFC fight before we go out. What's on the horizon, guys? Do we got any big boxing matches? I heard Francis and... Oh, excuse me. Didn't you just tell me today that Wilder's talking about going to the UFC?
He wants to, but I don't believe he's actually going to do that. But just imagine him with 4-ounce gloves, one of the hardest hitting heavyweights of all time. Boom!
I think he
Knocked
can
out.
have similar success to Ngannou. I do. I think you give him a year of MMA training with a good... somebody well-versed in takedown defense and somebody well-versed in defending leg kicks.
You know, Jake Paul got a new fight coming.
Does he?
Who?
Who's he fighting?
It says his opponent's name is Andre August.
I have no idea who
He's
that
some
is.
pro boxer. He's 10-1.
Really?
So they're supposed to bang it out in Florida here soon. So
Well, you know, look, I'm going to say this to y'all. You're going to dislike me for it, and that's okay. A lot of people be on Jake's ass, well, he's not fighting real boxers. And that's, I get it. I'm Jake Paul, and I'm getting millions to beat up on retired MMA fighters. Do you think I'm going to give a fuck what the crowd says?
I don't care what Terrence from Idaho says.
No.
You know, I'm over here making millions.
I mean, ultimately, Jake Paul's first 7 or 8 opponents, I want to say this and we're going to move on. Jake Paul's first 7 or 8 opponents. If you go back and look at Mike Tyson's first 10 opponents, they don't even have Wikipedia pages. If you do that for pretty much any heavyweight boxer or any boxer, their first 10 opponents are bums.
You've seen Floyd's first fight?
Yeah.
Who looks like he's not able to box.
That's what I'm saying. You know, those first 8-10 pro fights are usually with scrubbalicious fighters. So why should Jake Paul have to fight killers of the boxing community when nobody else does? He's fighting MMA fighters who used to be champions. Is that not good enough?
ESPN released their top 10 in men's boxing. Number 1's Terrence Crawford. I feel like that's right.
I agree. Yeah.
Number 2's Inoue. I feel like that's right too.
I like
then
it.
you got Usyk. How do you feel about that? Who'd you put at 3?
I think we need to rank Usyk after he fights Fury.
What about Canelo? He's number 4.
I think Canelo should have been 3. Personally. I think Canelo looked pretty good in his last
He
fight.
looked great.
He looked like a destroyer.
Yeah.
So,
He just beat Charlo.
and if you look at his overall body of work, how can Canelo not be top 3 right now? I'm confused. You know, I think that his body of work overall is better than Usyk's.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then number 5, you got Dimitri Bivol. I feel like he's a little bit high in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's
7-8.
just me.
7-8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6, Artur Beterbiev, which is also in Bivol's division, and then they're gonna fight later on.
I put
for
Bivol
undisputed.
over him. Slightly.
Yeah.
Go
Number
ahead.
7's Devin Haney.
I ain't mad at
I
that.
feel like he should be a little bit higher in my opinion. Then
Maybe.
number 8's Shakur.
Okay.
Well ranked. Number 9, Tank Davis. Number 10's Fury. He went down 4 spots.
He
after
should.
the Nagano
Fury,
fight. Yeah.
you should. You
That-
fucking let us down, bro.
That was one of his worst fights ever. I mean, you know, a boxer's gonna have that type of performance. They're not gonna shine like that, but still, it's against an MMA fighter.
We're never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah.
These MMA fans now, what they don't realize is this, okay? Say this, then we're going to go with the world swings back. Francis Ngannou is not just an MMA fighter who went and boxed. He's one of the, listen folks, listen closely. He's one of the hardest hitting human beings who ever put on a pair of gloves. If you go watch his highlights, it's terrifying, okay? This is a guy who lands glancing blows and knocks people out cold. So he's not your average bloke. If you'd have taken anybody else, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. MMA fans, I will make you a deal. There was a lot of you who said John Jones would beat Ngannou
In what?
in an MMA match.
Oh, yeah.
Put John Jones in a boxing match with Tyson Fury and watch what happens. Fury will beat the dog shit out of him. And I'll bet my life on it. Because John Jones doesn't have the terrifying, frightening power that Ngannou has. And people don't realize how big of a difference that makes. This guy touches you, he lands a glancing blow to your shoulder and you're like, oh fuck.
You know, if you have that killer power like that, it's the biggest advantage in a fight in general.
Well, it is, because think about it, right? If I got devastating KO power and me and you fight, all right, you gotta be perfect the whole fight. Because if I land one good one at any point, that could be
Let's
it.
talk about those fighters. You got like Tank Davis, you know, Francis Ngannou,
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson,
Yep. And
George Foreman. Like,
the power's the great equalizer. Look, I seen my guy Foreman, you know, when he won back the heavyweight title at 45 years old, he was getting whooped. I'm gonna step one out there and say it, he was getting whooped. But those that knew he wasn't getting whooped. We seen that he kept setting up his 1-2. And sure enough, he finally put it right down the middle. Night, night. And that's the thing, when you got that kind of power, you know what you can do, and you're always gonna try to do it.
It's terrible.
Oh shit.
no.
So we've all done dares, right? You know, we were all young
I
once.
don't
and
like
we-
where this is going.
This guy was, I guess he was at a party in Australia. He's Australian. He was 19. So he's a young man, just out doing what he does. His friends dared him to swallow a slug.
Why?
I
Just
don't
to
know.
do it?
I guess they just
Like-
seen it and they were like, yo, swallow that slug, we dare you. You know, and they were drinking and shit. The slug had rat lungworm disease. He swallowed it, he started getting dizzy and shit, he started throwing up. They took him to the hospital and he slipped into a coma for I think it was like 400 days he was in this coma.
Damn.
He woke up from the coma and he was paralyzed from the neck down. Died that way. Just died. You know, I think he lived like that for 5 to 8 years, and then he died. You know.
That is terrifying.
Swallowed a slug as a dare, and it killed him.
Yeah, that's.
So,
You know, it took 8 years for that process. He did it in 2010, died in 2018.
damn.
So 8 years. He spent over a year in the hospital in a coma, and then the rest of that time he was paralyzed from the neck down.
But now let me ask you, he started getting sick right away.
I think it was like the next day or two or something like that. It took a couple days, but then they took him to the hospital. And
It's funny you brought this up, actually. So, I catfish a lot. And catfish eat nasty bait. That's just what they do. So, I will take chicken livers, let them set for a day, slightly spoil, then take them to fish with. Catfish love it. Same with chicken breasts. One day, I made the mistake. I had handled the chicken and I didn't wash my hands thoroughly. And I'd forgotten and I ate a chip. And afterwards, I ate like a chip or two, and my wife was like, did you make sure you washed your hands good? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. Probably 2 hours later that night, I got deathly sick. I'm talking about ill, folks. Pale, throwing up, stomach a mess. And I was sick like that for almost 3 days. Now you think about that. That's just off eating a little bit of unbad chicken. But there's creatures out here that have parasites like you described. Damn, but you wouldn't think a slug would have parasites.
what I think it was too is when he swallowed it, it gave him like from that disease, it gave him some sort of meningitis.
Damn.
And then
God.
they say that like rats carry that a lot, but then some snails and slugs also carry it. And he fucked around and just got the bad one.
You gotta be
Let me say this, y'all. Be careful with animals, period. They go places that are not safe for us. They engage in stuff that ain't safe for us to engage in. Just, if you do eat something, cook that shit, okay?
You know, be careful of these dares out here, man.
Well, yeah, how
Can't
many
just-
times have we seen somebody die off just something ridiculous?
Yeah.
You know. Thanks everybody that tunes in. Please give us feedback below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. See y'all next time. Keep at the world. We'll be back soon.